This week I attempted my hardest ever fueling strategy, 120 grams of carbs an hour of my homemade gels on my longest run yet at the end of my highest mileage week in this marathon build. And let's just say things didn't exactly go to plan. In the week leading up to the simulation, I had 3 key workouts planned. Monday and Wednesday went to plan, but Friday was a different story. One that left me worried heading into the long run. I've just finished my 10 by 3 minute session, and I say finished, but I actually cut it short because I felt a slight tinge in my left adductors. And sure, I could have gone on and finished all the reps, but it's just not worth the risk. Good decision made today, and take it easy for the next couple of days. After cutting Friday's session short, I knew I had to get everything else right heading into Sunday, and that started with a full carb load. So the plan for today is to get about 920 grams of carbs in, which works out to about 12 grams per kilo for me. The food I've chosen for today is all very low in fiber, low in fat just to keep the calories down, and obviously high in carbs. Today's all about practicing everything as it will be and making sure it sits well on my stomach. I also laid out all the gear I'll use on race day. So the same clothes, the same gels, except for the shoes. I'll be racing in the Alpha Fly 3s, but for this run, I'm wearing the Alpha Fly 2s, and that's just to keep the 3s fresh for race day. And for the first time, I'll be aiming for 120 grams of carbs per hour, the most I've ever tried using my own gels. Race morning started just like it will on the big day. I set my alarm for 3 a.m. to be ready for a 6:30 gun time. Same breakfast, same kit, same routine. I even set out a trestle table with paper cups so I could practice grabbing water at pace. Every detail mattered. The goal? A full marathon simulation with aid stations, race day prep, and fueling at 120 grams of carbs per hour. I love the nervous anticipation when you take that first step of a run this long. It's like, I'm just going to be running on this 1 mile path for the next 3 hours. So let's do it. Here we go. And we're off on right on cue. We're raining, but that's okay, because we got some weird sun there, the rainbow. Let's go. So coming up to grab my first drink. Let's see if I can do this without dropping the cup. So far so good. Oh yeah. Room for improvement. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we practice. So my plan for hydration is just to have water at the aid stations, which are about every 5Ks. So every 3 laps of this loop, I'll take some water, and then every time I take some water, oh, I need to do it now actually, I'll reverse directions just to keep it fresh, you know, because running in a circle for 3 hours. So I realise I haven't told you about the run itself yet. It's the same as all my other long runs at this stage of the build. 10-minute warm-up, an hour and 40 minutes steady, then 3 by 17 minutes at marathon effort, 10-minute cool down, with I think 3-minute recoveries after the marathon efforts. But given the wind and the humidity and the warmer weather today, I'm trying not to focus on pace and just go by effort. Time to turn around. Oh, the excitement. So I'm 10 Ks into the run now, and it's going fine, but I thought I'd feel better, to be honest. I was kind of expecting to feel like Superman after a carb load and a proper breakfast, but I feel a bit tired. So I'm definitely going to lay off the weights for the last 4 weeks before the marathon, and hopefully, yeah, my legs will recover, and I'll lighten up the loads and not try and advance any of my weights or reps. I'll pull it all back a bit, and hopefully that does the trick. And I forgot to pee before I went on the run. I'm gonna try and get through it without stopping, because that might happen on race day. I might not be able to get to the toilet beforehand. So I'm an hour into the run, so it's time to have my Morton caffeinated gel The reason I'm having the Morton caffeinated gels and not just crushing up caffeine tablets and putting it into my gel is I want to feel the hit. So rather, because if I crushed it up and put it in my gel, I'd be having just a little bit all the way through, but I want to feel that definite lift. So I take a 200 milligram tablet before the race, and then have a Morton 100 an hour into the race, then another one 2 hours, and that way it gives it all time to reach its maximum effectiveness, and I still get those hits. So that's the plan. Well, that's the steady portion of the run nearly over. Time to lock in and see what I can do in these marathon pace segments in this wind. Not feeling amazing, to be honest, feeling a bit tired, and started to have a little bit of funny feelings in my gut. So I'm gonna lay off the carbs for the next, well, I'm gonna skip my next 10-minute carb hit. My goodness, this wind. All right, time to lock in. That's prep 1 finished. And look at what I'm running in. Absolutely wild. Oh my goodness. This is like being in a cyclone. Amazing. Woo. Obviously, the paces are way off where I'd want them, but the effort's good. Let's keep going. One rep to go. Not gonna lie, this is hard. This one's gonna be a struggle. But so you're probably wondering why the video jumped from me before the final rep to me now here at home. And let's just say things didn't exactly end how I imagined. So the big experiment of the day was to trial fueling at 120 grams of carbs per hour. And everything was fine until it wasn't. So guys, I actually shat my pants. It was so bad. It's like I lost full control of my body. There was nothing I could do about it. It came on so suddenly, and it wasn't just a little bit. It was horrific. But that's the reality of testing racing fueling, isn't it? We try these things and sometimes they work, and sometimes you shit your pants. Now looking back, the weather actually had a part to play in this, believe it or not. It was so windy that my whole drinks table got completely blown away. So by the end of the run, the drinks table was at like the other end of the car park. So I didn't have any drinks for the last probably hour, maybe hour and a half of the run, which meant I had nothing to dilute all those carbs I was pumping into my guts. And that was certainly a contributing factor, I reckon. I think it would have been a different story if I had some water. Now, I might try going higher again in the future because it is possible to train your gut. But for this race, no, 90 to 100 grams per hour is fine for me at this stage. It's about having enough to perform well, but it's got to be sustainable, and we can't have a repeat of what happened at the end of that run. Fortunately, it was right at the end, so I actually completed all my reps, and it was during the cool down. So even though the fueling was obviously a big failure, I learned a lot. Like the carb load was perfect. I was really happy with how that went. I got to practice my aid station setup, my race day routine. I got to practice what it's like to push through marathon pace and in really tough conditions. This is all really good stuff and really good preparation. So there was a lot that went right in that run. But yeah, not quite the glamorous ending I imagined. But that's the whole point of simulations, isn't it? We try out things, we see what works, we see what doesn't, we tweak it going forward. And I have actually got some big workouts coming up where I can practice my race fueling again at 90 to 100 grams just to reassure myself that it's going to be fine so we don't have a repeat of the pants incident. But it is time to lock in now for the final few weeks of marathon prep. This coming Sunday, I've got a 10K race, which is going to be paced by the one and only Sota. Super excited for that. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching. I will see you next week.